Operation Columba, communication through the carrier pigeon secret service during World War II. World War II was the bloodiest war in all of human history. The countries involved suffered tens of millions of casualties, and it was such a desperate struggle that both the Axis and the Allies would do almost anything to get the upper hand. This desperation results in arguably one of the strangest and yet most effective espionage strategies of all time. Operation Columba was a productive espionage operation conducted by the British Secret Service that utilized carrier pigeons, a very fast and reliable form of communication, to aid the Allied spies. In concept, pigeons may seem minuscule to the grand scheme of the most catastrophic war of all time, but as a form of communication, they were invaluable. Their speed and reliability saved thousands of lives and provided crucial intel for Allied forces. During World War II, the British Secret Service used carrier pigeons, which had been one of the fastest and most reliable forms of communication before technology changed to aid their spies in Nazi-controlled Europe, making a crucial difference in their espionage effort.
People have utilized the unique homing abilities of pigeons to relay important information for thousands of years. In ancient Greece, pigeons were used to announce winners of the Olympic Games. In World War I, the work pigeons put in to deliver messages saved thousands of soldiers from imminent death. And prior to World War II, pigeons in Belgium were commonly raised for sport by the upper and middle class. Pigeons were so important and used so frequently because of their speed, consistency, and their ability to find their way home across hundreds of miles of foreign land. Scientists to this day still do not fully comprehend how the homing ability of pigeons works, but there are many theories that have been developed on the matter. Some scientists believe that pigeons have an internal compass that guides them back to their lofts, and others think that the birds lie in the Earth's magnetic field for navigation. On top of this, it is believed that pigeons only use their internal tracking methods to return home and not much else. This unique navigation ability, along with flight speeds of up to 100 miles an hour, allows pigeons to be an extremely effective form of communication.
Operation Columba began in April of 1941 when Rex Pierson, an intelligence operative who served in World War I, proposed the idea of utilizing pigeons to gain previously unattainable intel. In 1939, Rex had overseen the British Secret Service's European affairs until his heavy drinking resulted in his demotion. Rex wanted to prove himself and restore his reputation, and through his determination, Operation Columba was created. Rex believed that pigeons could be used not only to retrieve information from Allied spies, but he also believed pigeons could be used to gain intel from commoners sympathetic to the Allied forces' cause. At first, Pierson faced an enormous amount of resistance, and the Secret Service claimed that it did not even want to be associated with Pierson's plan. Many believed that homing pigeons were outdated and had little use in reconnaissance. However, with enough persistence, Pierson was finally able to establish the operation in the Royal Corps of Signals. Columba was specifically designed to support spies and gain intel in parts of German-occupied Europe through the airdropping of homing pigeons behind enemy lines. It was a high-risk, high-reward operation that relied on the pinpoint accuracy of the pigeons and the willingness of patriots, people who despised the Germans, to contribute intel to the war effort. The homing pigeons used were often borrowed from local lofts and pigeon fanciers who were told little about what their pigeon would be used for. Pigeons were loaded into containers with a small questionnaire on German intel, some rice paper, a pencil, and some pigeon food. The pigeons were then loaded up into airplanes and dropped with parachutes during the night at various locations ranging from southwestern France to the eastern edge of Denmark. In total, only about 16,000 of the pigeons involved in Project Columba ended up being dropped, and many perished on the journey back home. The pigeons by themselves were not the main contributors to this operation, though they were extremely crucial. For the most part, the pigeons were tools for patriotic citizens to fight against the oppression they were experiencing at the hands of Nazi Germany by providing crucial information for the Allies.
Operation Columba and the use of pigeons for communication allowed civilians to contribute whatever they could to the war effort. In fact, without people risking their lives for the pigeons and the information they would transport, Operation Columba would have completely failed. Many fanciers donated their own pigeons that they raised for the war effort, and people within German-occupied areas risked their lives and the lives of their loved ones by taking care of the British carrier pigeons. One of the most notable groups involved in the civilian espionage network established by Operation Columba was the Leopold Vindictive. The Leopold Vindictive was a small group of patriots located in Belgium and consisted of the members of the Duvalle family and two friends of their family. After a British pigeon was given to the family by a local farmer, the group decided to aid the British, knowing it would endanger their lives. Each member of the family played a crucial role in gathering information to give back to the British while remaining unnoticed by the local German officers. After several days of spying, the family compiled the information, which included multiple notes on the movements of the Germans, onto the rice paper that came with the pigeon. The information became known as Message 37, and it gave Operation Columba the validity it needed to stay afloat as a program. The Leopold Vindictive was one of many small patriot groups that put everything on the line for the cause they believed in. This connection between the British and the people suffering under German rule was the driving force behind Operation Columba. Unfortunately, within a month of its launch, the Germans caught on to Operation Columba when they discovered the birds being dropped near Courtrai, Belgium. This resulted in swift countermeasures by the Germans to deny the British any use of their homing pigeons for intel. German forces would arrest and publicly execute anyone they caught with British homing pigeons, and they made sure to treat every execution as a warning to the public. German soldiers would shoot down any pigeons they saw, and they even began to enlist the help of trained hawks to hunt down the homing pigeons. Some areas under German control offered rewards for turning in British pigeons to local officers, and they even went as far as to plant fake pigeons to trap anyone trying to contact Britain. In August of 1941, one of the first victims of anti-pigeon measures by the Germans was a Louis Barrière, a Frenchman who was executed by a firing squad for attempting to send intel with British homing pigeon. Many other patriots were executed in this way, including Joseph Raskin, a member of the Leopold Vindictive. Despite the dangers, many patriots still put their lives on the line in order to aid the resistance against Nazi Germany. The pigeons created this sense of unity between the people and the rebellion would not have been possible otherwise. Project Columba ultimately resulted in a lot of otherwise attainable personal intel getting back into the British HQ. Some of this intel included troop members, hazard locations, location of German encampments, information on German troop movements, and information on roads that led to the key German buildings. Each message delivered by the pigeons was different, and some were more helpful than others. One note from a homing pigeon signed Bernard Franklin provided coordinates for ammo dumps and airfields in Courtrai, which was crucial for intel for bomber planes. This information provided by the pigeons became crucial for the war effort, and with each message, Columba gained more utility and credibility.
To summarize, the use of pigeons as a form of communication greatly assisted the Allies in World War II. If it were not for the pigeons' reliable internal navigational systems and sheer speed, along with the bravery of the common folk who risked their lives for intel, it is possible that Allied forces would have never gained a foothold in occupied France, and as a result, they might not have won the most brutal war in history. Despite its flaws and quirks, Operation Columba was a genuinely helpful source of information for the British during the war. The utilization of pigeons saved the lives of thousands of soldiers and civilians alike. Although it seemed highly unlikely, pigeons proved to be one of the quickest and most efficient forms of gathering and sending intel during the most trying times of World War II.